In recent weeks, I've been working on rebuilding my entire workshop, starting with what used to be not very well designed storage space and turning that into my dream office. But like with most things in life, what you see in front of the camera is just carefully curated snippet of reality. And while clean desk setup is what shows in all of my videos, what I see in front of me, it's a completely different story. Here, let me show you. Yep. All the random bits and pieces in complete chaos. And I think it's finally time to do something about it. As usual with this kind of projects, I started by jotting what I actually wanted out of the design. Number 1, I want the shelf to be L-shaped, wrapping around the back and the side wall. Number 2, I want to keep the cabinet I made for the bins and work it into a new build. Number 3, I need a lot of drawers to store all the random stuff currently living on the floor. Number 4, I need a proper shelf for paint storage. Let's see what I can come up with. As soon as I finished the design, I was itching to get started on the build. However, there were a few things I needed to take care of before that. First, I had to clear out everything that was crammed into that space. But more importantly, I needed to sort out the walls. I wasn't loving the tiled look, so I decided to cover it with MDF before giving each of them different finish. I covered one wall with concrete style wallpaper and painted the other black. Then I added some slats to give it a bit more of character. With the cosmetic stuff out of the way, it was finally time to get building. As I said before, the only thing I wanted to keep from my old setup was the cabinet I built for the storage bins, but it needed a serious upgrade. Once that was done, I moved on to the paint cabinet. The trickiest part here was the spray paint shelf. I had to add a ton of dividers to keep the cans organized, but once that was done, everything else went together pretty smoothly. While on it, I quickly put together the corner shelf that will be accessible from the top. Then came the final piece, the drawer cabinet. Same as before, I started by making a simple frame and adding drawer sliders. Before I could work on the drawers though, there was one more thing I needed to do. Then, the most dreaded part of the whole build has arrived, making 19 drawers. Spoiler alert, that part took forever. If only I could move at the time-lapse speed in real life. Yeah, my back definitely felt that. After a much needed stretch break, I threw together a quick jig to help align the slides properly and started installing them on the drawers. Thanks to that jig, the install went way faster than expected, like suspiciously fast. But after the drawers ordeal, I wasn't going to complain about that. As soon as the drawers were in, I started to fill them up with all my stuff. I knew I would have to take everything out to install the drawer faces, but I wanted to see how everything will look like. That turned out to be a huge mistake, because, well, at that point, the drawer was already working perfectly fine without the drawer fronts. It took a few more weeks, not days, before I finally convinced myself to make them. I painted MDF black, cut it to the size, and made a complete mess of the workshop rounding the edges. I also pre-drilled the holes for the handles, so I could use them to align everything during the installation. I used the 3D printed spacers because eyeballing it and regretting it later didn't seem like a good idea this time. I didn't paint the fronts before installing them because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep the green edges, but at the end I decided to go with the black. Once the paint dried, I installed the handles. And just like that, after only several weeks of procrastination, the project was finally done.